Hey, welcome back to part 3 of my run of Metroid Prime Remastered. My name is Hunter. I'm a DJ, small but in New York, and while I've been on Twitch for a while, this has been my first time playing a video game here on Twitch, but not just on Twitch, but we're actually broadcasting simultaneously to Facebook and YouTube as well. And the first 2 parts of this run can be found on my Twitch channel for the time being. If you're catching this near to the date posted, March 19th. But otherwise, you can find all of the videos in this series on my YouTube. And link to the YouTube is just below me. The link tree will take you everywhere you want to go. In fact, I think Matthew, who's the crow hanging out to the left of the QR code beneath me, has some exciting updates for us. What the link tree is actually linking to. Matthew, you want to let me know what's up? Yeah, I'll pass it along. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the link tree is newly updated. I mean, it's been there for a little bit, and Nexus for all things DJ Hunter. You can get to my Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, email for bookings, DJ Sound of the Biz, PayPal, and Patreon. So, all of the things. I've been doing some work. Branding, logos, and so that's been fun. Yeah. Also on the link tree, you will find upcoming shows. Batty Von Bats, the purple bat flapping at the top left-hand side of our capture here, is who's in charge of, flying around the capital region and coming back with bookings and shows and info on what's going down. So Batty has told me to pass along that you can find me DJ Hunter this Friday at the deck in Gloversville for the Divine Feminine presents. We've done a show out there with Chevy Supernova each month this year, and it's a wonderful scene, and we've really been enjoying it. And huge shout out to Chevy too, who was just here on Friday for I was running sound at the Capital Region Arts, and for a burlesque. I don't know what it was the culmination of a burlesque class, and it was like the sort of student review, but it was an absolutely phenomenal production. Yeah, very cool. There's another burlesque class that you can take at the Capital Region for the Arts in Troy, New York, if that's also your jam. So yeah, small plug to my community and to my partner. You can also find me a little bit little bit further out. Each of these next bookings are each further out. But I'll be back at the Fuse Box for Church of Lust's first anniversary show at the end of April 20th, and I will be back at No Fun in Troy for Pacey's Pencils and Pints at the end of May 31st. Last day of the month. But yeah, and all that info's nice and neatly arranged over on the link tree, and hopefully we'll have lots more fun things to announce and show off to people too, as we head into the spring. Marvelous time. And in the final corner, my final companion, we've got the Beat Skull. Beat Skull's keeping the stream going. Thank you, Beat Skull. Charlotte up on her web and Sheila dangling down below. Scour the interwebs for the latest games for me to be playing here on the channel. So kudos to them as well for all their hard work. Let's actually jump into playing here. Enough intro. Just intro forever. We are so far there's been first session got us from the opening scenes to the end of the first boss to Magmore entrance. Yesterday's session got us from Magmore entrance to acquiring the wave beam. So here we are. We're gonna start. We've just got the wave beam. We're in Fendrana Drifts, and we're about a quarter of the way through the game. So far, we've played for 4 hours, basically 2-hour sessions, roughly. Probably looking at a similar endeavor today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, whether it's in the present or in my future, your present. To try to have you here. And yeah, this is Metroid Prime Remastered. What it's worth. I did take the time to wait to get a physical version of this. Shadow dropped this game a month ago now on a Nintendo Direct. Where are we headed? It's a good question. I mean, I think we're headed to the only elevator we can go to. I don't think there's anything else pressing to do here. Right, so Nintendo Shadow dropped this, or dropped it suddenly, to say. At the same moment they announced it at this Nintendo Direct, but only digitally. And then, and they announced though at that time that it would also be coming to a physical edition, and then it was just immediately sold out everywhere for the last month. So I do like to have my games on cartridges or discs or whatever. I do own plenty of digital versions of things typically, but usually the difference is that they only exist digitally. Capitalism makes it hard on a poor gamer is when did we get up here already? Yes, we did. Is when really cool, basically digital only versions get very limited. I have to let those go. Scam isn't the right word, but just appealing to gamers. And the price points start high. You know, we live in a world of bots mostly picking up that sort of thing. All right off the bat. Although I have a couple cool versions of things. Like I own Dead Cells on a cartridge, which is neat. Like if I really like something, and there are exceptions. Like I don't own Hollow Knight, which is one of the best games I've ever had the pleasure of playing. And I mean I don't own it physically. Someday we'll have to do something about that. Hollow Knight 2 is coming out this year. I heard so many games coming out this year. And it would be cool to play several of them online. So far, I've really been enjoying this. Alright, where are we at next? Let's say not that way. I mean, the big deal now is that we can unlock purple ship. Just like, I'm pretty sure there was some purple shit here. I guess not. Alright, so. Let me get to that. Okay. Bridges don't stay out. I would say, even though I know the game is somehow communicating that is a boost morph ball device rather than than morph ball bomb. It doesn't communicate it very well. Or it is, I guess. I'm not paying attention. There is fair. They did put like 2 whole side games. They just. I have mentioned it before, but the it's like, oh yeah, the Vendesium and yeah, Super Metroid and the cracks. But I just like that the game. Well, I pointed out that the game codes its so like Vendesium is indicating Power Bomb. There's another one. I mean, it's like Grindstone or something. It's another B, which I think maybe isn't ideal. People with severe ADHD. It does have a regular dose. Who's this guy? Doctors. I don't know. I just like that world. Oh, it's Vendesium, some Power Bomb, or it's Brindle, so it's normal. And sometimes I think it just says it's brittle. Maybe it's some of them I think can be damaged by a missile. So there's different. Right, that was a spider ball. Cool, so this should take us back up to town. Near where the ship is, I think. We haven't talked about this map very much, and I am deeply appreciative of this map. But yeah, it has this weird. Right, you move it with R. So that's your X and Y axes. And then rotate gives you a Z axis. But using them cohesively, like, I mean, it gives you an incredible amount of detail into the, like, you can actually, which is nice as you're like building the mental map of the game in your head. You know, you're also the map of the game provides you. Highly evocative spaces. Like, oh yeah. Reason, you know, for a map that is only sort of exterior wireframe of each room, it just goes to show that as you've been through that room, it's a tall tree that in the hallway. That's a boost ball. Okay. This small room. There we go. Break to check my streams. So, okay. Exciting. Feel like one of the early enemies mainly testing the player's ability. Talk about enemies as a puzzle, but you know, we haven't really dived too deep. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We don't have Spider Ball. All the cool shit that we can do. Oh. Definitely use Spider Ball to get in there. Okay. I feel like actually this is a common Metroid Prime playthrough hiccup is the Spider Ball, because there's a couple things, you know, where I know like that they're kind of hard to like figure out where they are, because they're like in rooms where you've already been is mainly when something is a bit harder to discern. Oops. Alright, so I definitely don't think it's in Talon. I don't think it's here in Chozo. I think Spider Ball is probably somehow. So we came out that way. I said that was a Spider Ball room. But I don't know. I wonder if you could brute. I don't think so. I think it's all lava. I don't think you can brute your way through that. And it's probably not the answer. And then, let's look at Fendrana. Fendrana has that, that purple door. Alright. I think we went right past that. I think I started in that save room. And Alright, let's move. No use crying about spilt milk. So we're gonna go to Magmore Caverns. Right. I feel like that makes more sense than trying to go back to town the way we came. Geez, maybe not. Maybe backwards is the way to go. Alright. Choices. Let's move. This will bring us back to Magmore. And then we're going to head back into Fendrana. Which is where we started. I think this whole... Oh boy, how long have I been live? Half an hour now. And we are just headed back basically to where we started. Well, that happens. And it's part of, you know, part of the joy. I don't know when the last time I played this game is. It's probably been about a decade, at least. Mostly I just feel like, you know, comfortable, familiar in this space. It's Metroid Prime. Mostly it just feels really nice to see, I think one of the funny things about remasters, even ones like where like these upgrades are really traumatic, we remember these games. Usually in a rosier way. That they actually look or perform when we were to go back and boot up Metroid Prime. great. Revisit some classes this way. Is this the door? It sure is. Plus the Magmore 2 slabs. Go. I'm doing frozen. I'm thinking about their death rattle. Alright, let's save since we're here. Double jump is the best. In any game, there's just always... It might be the thing that I love about Metroidvania so much, is they're games with double jumps. Oh, did we go to the right room? Yes, yes we did. Maybe I need super missiles. I think one of the things that this game does well, or that all good Metroidvania should. Well, should. Is, so the game does nicely tease, right? You start the game, and in classic Metroid style, you've got access to most of your, like, I want to say default powers. Default is a good... Iconic, powers. And... and then they're taken away. And then, but the game also is teasing you powers, not just by the opening sequence, but also by all of the locked doors, whether they be actual doors with color coding on them, or ledges that are too high or too far away to jump until you have a double jump or a grapple beam, or and everything, right? Everything in Metroid basically is something that you can pick up on the world or is an element of the world. So when we think about the way the game is teasing, it's showing us through a variety of I think it just has a thing about me being yeah. Of course. I wanted to bring attention to the way the game has really only teased like regular missiles for the most part. It tries to, you're teasing, but you don't want to like overwhelm the or just play all your hands at once. So the game doesn't really bring much attention to the things that are powerbomb breakable, the Bendesian, right? It's like a very natural. I mean, if you're using the scanner, then eventually, then you do get to like see these hits. But most people, if you're not trying to scan the entire world, you're not going to these little hints about Bendesian. And so I think, so here we've seen one other item in Ice before, but it was just a regular missile, even though it was going to take a plasma cannon, I think, whatever the heat cannon is called in this game, I think it's plasma, to melt and access. So even though it is later game content, and it would, from an order of events perspective, make sense to have a power bomb or a super missile. That one in there looked like a power bomb to me. Though if you didn't know what a power bomb looked like, it's still just like orange and spinny, and the ice obscures it in a way where if you didn't know that you were looking for a different model, you might at a glance, not think much of what was being teased in there as a later item. And so the game is only just now, right, I'm 25% of the way through the game. And it's, I think, very correctly chosen to not. So, Right, is this a bomb? Or is this a... Well, this one doesn't have 3 sides. And for all the things I compliment this game design on, I'm like, the difference, whatever the difference between whether something wants a bomb or the boost when you're in a morph ball, you know, device is ambiguous to me at this point in the game. And I think I'll probably be confused about it the whole game, where I'm like always trying one or the other. I mean, here we're gonna... Never mind the fact that I also sometimes just like, which button is which? So you switch to the morph ball, and you haven't been doing morph ball stuff lately, then I'm always like briefly reacquainting myself with the control scheme setup. Because here, like, why it turns us into a morph ball X now is when we hold it, lets us be the thing that toggles the D-pad from changing our beams to our visors, which is pretty nifty. A is apparently fire. A. But right, like I'm not using A because I'm using the right trigger. R is a missile. L is also duplicate of jump, and now that I'm overanalyzing how I play the game more subconsciously. Here, right, I carry a charge to the world is to hold down the right trigger. While using, what's that, the B button to jump. I've always struggled with the letter mapping on controllers, or not always necessarily. Like some were really fucking iconic, like the GameCube controller with its massive. No, that's a tiny puzzle. With its massive A button, and smaller B button, and then the bean-shaped X and Y buttons. You know, that felt good to me. But now that we've the initial, video game, it doesn't matter. Like all the first-party controllers have a diamond patterned, I guess the PS5 maybe does it best, or they are still they're slightly different shapes, right? They're triangles, or they're like a house shape, like a, like there's a sort of like a trapezoid pointing inwards into the middle of the diamond with like a boxier shape going out. I don't think it's 4 circles, but the Switch Pro controller, or just any Switch controller by default, and the Xbox controller, are just the four circular buttons. Maybe 2. Come join the stream. Watch me play Metroid. But then the letters are in different places. That's where I was going with that. Which has always been very bewildering to me when I feel like about 3 seconds. But still, I'm always like, your A, B, X, and Y buttons are in different spots. I was just getting used to one of these, you know, by the time I'm playing a game. And like actually getting into it. The last game I played on the Xbox was Vampire Survivors. Maybe I'll play that. I really went hard into Vampire Survivors in December. It's a pretty ridiculous game. A lot of fun. So that was my last game, and then I did mention, right, I'm playing Pokemon on my own, playing Pokemon Violet with my brother in co-op online, and that got me back into the world of Pokemon because we are having a ton of fun playing co-op Pokemon. I think it's mostly because of the co-op experience, but yeah, lots of fun. And then, but so we're only doing that when, you know, our schedules line up. And we started at Christmas. We each got each other Pokemon, and we just beat it. We beat. So now I would say that we are in the post game, which we haven't touched. But yeah, we just beat Violet, and he beat Scarlet yesterday. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. And yeah, I should pause it. I guess story time should happen while I'm playing, but I'm gonna take a quick 1 second break to talk about gaming. No, buy me too. Speaking of Pokemon. Yeah, and then so anyway, I picked up Pokemon Arceus because then I was into Pokemon, but I couldn't play it as much as I wanted to, but also I had heard really good things about Arceus or Arceus, and it's actually not that I just picked it up. I picked it back up. I bought the game shortly after it came out last year, more than a year ago now, but like last February or whenevs. Not at launch, but like after it got like really good reviews, and I do like Pokemon games. And I've been wanting to support the Pokemon Company in doing anything new from a formula that I am dreadfully bored of, even though I still generally have participated in most generations, even if I got bored and didn't finish it, or I've checked out more than I haven't. There's definitely a couple I missed. I missed a GBA gen in Ruby Sapphire, which was a big one for a lot of people, but I missed it. Or maybe I did do that one, but it was maybe it was the remakes, the Leaf Green and Fire Red that I missed and stuff. And then on the DS, I'm sure I missed at least one. But I played a few of them. And then I played Pokemon Sword when it came to the Switch. Again, I was excited at like 3D Pokemon. I mean, as someone who's fucking elder millennial here, who played Pokemon on a Game Boy, on a lime green Game Boy Pocket, you know, in the early 90s. Then like, yeah, shit. That was, this 3D Pokemon was always the dream. I mean, and even since like the N64, that was like something us Pokemon fans were hoping, dreaming of, you know. And instead we got Stadium and Snap, and it was like, okay, well, fair. The N64 maybe couldn't, I don't know. Wasn't willing to give them a pass. It was a letdown. It was a letdown every generation. And the fact that we went, right, N64, GameCube, Wii U, and then all the way to the Switch, when Nintendo finally, like, basically merged its handheld division, running the Game Boy and the 3DSs and NDSs and not NDS, NDS, you know, over the generations into, you know, its console divisions, you know, and basically just merged, you know, what had been two businesses into one, which is part of the reason why the Switch is so cool, because liking Nintendo is, as any Nintendo fan knows, like, just an exercise in abuse, and this has been like the best ever that they've been in terms of treating, I don't know, not treating fans well, listening to fans, doing things fans enjoy. Like, that really only started with the Nintendo Switch. And not, I mean, Nintendo is also aggressively themselves, which is fabulous and wonderful. That's what I appreciate about them. But sometimes their selves is also just like, I don't know. I like the choices they make generally, but where their philosophies intersect with being a very successful video game company, you know, needing to post returns to shareholders, means that some of the choices that Nintendo makes are infuriating or expensive. So anyway, all right, let's get back to trying to talk and playing this game. So I know we've got a timer here to get across. Okay. Probably lost a couple threads in there as I bounced between. It's a good little double jump puzzle. That, right, like the ledge above it forces you to jump, you know, and then use the double jump because of the ledge above. Like, you can't just use a single jump to get to it. Yeah. I definitely forget some of the things that I was. Where were we going with that? We're talking about controllers, and we're talking about games, and definitely talking about Metroid and Nintendo. I'll come back around to it. People could always help me in the chat. Brendan, answer this thought that you were having. This Cordite statue is worn and weathered. So, okay, right. So Cordite, good example of one that's not a bee, thankfully. I thought I wasn't going to be able to break that with a regular missile, but I was wrong. Maybe just not yet. Maybe it needs something. I only scanned that because I was interested to see if it was going to give me a material name for the blast door, but it doesn't. Oops. Research Lab Hydro. Now this is going to turn into an episode of G.I. Joe. Alright, here's hoping this is better.
Recorded to logbook.
Shadow. Probably. I'm like, but I want to scan it. Nice. Cutscenes. Really like seeing the articulated jaws in the animation there. I mean, they probably. It would be fun to know like how much they had to work with from the GameCube model for that. It does look really good though with this engine. Impossible to breach. And space pirates, well, you just make everything out of that. And it wouldn't be a video game. I do appreciate how hard this game goes for building out, you know, explanations for all of its shit. Impossible to breach could also be mostly a reference to, you know, like a subjective experience of impossible to breach with the equipment that you have. Because, right, like, this is what? Our AI in our suit coming up with these explanations. I think future Samus games build on, right? Fusion and Dread. I don't know if they're all in the suits a la Halo, right? The way you have Cortana. But still, like, when we're scanning things, presumably it's our suit that's coming up with these log entries. I know I've gotten to use the word lore a bunch, which I feel like is the current but like the in word, like it would definitely, like in 2002 when this game came out, I definitely would not have thought about this game as being filled with lore. I mean, you would and you wouldn't, I guess. And the game literally uses the word lore to describe some of the things it's doing with its lore. Just gonna scan some things here for a moment, make sure we got whatever version of Space Pirate I'm fighting now. Talking about lore. Okay. right in before you talk about the next thing. Talk about the lore. Just the word lore, like. And I feel right in the last decade we have the. We have the cinematic universe. All of our things exist in, you know, multimedia, cinematic, or not just cinematic, but, you know, universes. And so, like, lore is one of the words that we use to describe now in, like, very, like, online-y, like, parlance. Like, I like to watch a lot of, a lot of people talk about pop culture through different lenses, different critical lenses of analysis. Sorry, I really don't have anything other than, I guess. Sometimes things feel like they're worth commenting upon, and then, you know, you're saying them out loud, and you're like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you're just really overstating the obvious. But it is interesting the way language develops, you know, and as you get older, you become an elder millennial. You stay an elder millennial, but as more and more generations shift the context of what being an elder millennial means in terms of how close you are to being but itself is sort of a subjective thing that each generation gets to try and reshape, to some extent, how old they're going to be perceived. Scanning all the things. But yeah, I mean, this game went so hard with all this. It didn't have to. Cordite. Figured out. Apparently not something I have yet. But maybe we'll get it. It's more that, like, it doesn't seem from 2023's perspective, Metroid Prime maybe doesn't necessarily seem entirely as novel. And the cool thing about doing the stream, playing an older game, and getting to talk about it from my perspective, not that there aren't plenty of people my age playing video games online, but a lot of other people are younger, so I get to contribute to, you know, my own discourse on Metroid Prime. But because I mean, other games that are, you know, if you play other games that are filled with lore, like any open world game, right? Like Witcher or Deus Ex. Not a true open world, although maybe the later ones were. I don't know, RPGs, you know, everything from to varying degrees, but plenty of these games are just filled with. I mean, Witcher 3, as everyone knows. I mean, of course, it's also a book series, and, you know, is very much a universe, which is what we're all, again, conditioned to, because that's just like the goal for all new IPs, is to become a universe, because that's how you maximize profits, because you're increasing people's investment, you're capturing more of their time. Like, even you can only maybe in theory capture so much of someone's movie watching time, because movies are only so much of their life. But if you capture books, comics, video games, music, then you can feasibly make up way more of a portion of someone's life and feed into this cycle of people interacting with privately held intellectual properties that are then, then become parts of things that we associate our own identity with. And then that's when, from a corporation's perspective, that you got them. Like, you as a corporation own something that people have, integrated into their self-image. And that's, because IP is characters and worlds, and that encompasses philosophies and character studies and also, just moments in people's lives and the own, associations that we, ourselves are always building with, with culture. So, but that's when you can really, sell the merchandise. Because then people want to, they want to be wearing it. They want to, be associated with it. And that's pretty interesting. So, but when Metroid Prime came out in 2002, the world was not quite that way yet. Star Wars kicks off like multimedia branding. So, people had been like trying to replicate Lucas's success, all through the 80s and 90s. And it's interesting to see the way those decades made their own attempts at it, to varying degrees of success. But yeah, ever since Harry Potter kind of leads into Marvel, Lord of the Rings cements a trilogy. That trilogy cements, this sprawling fantasy, massive, endless budget, idea for the, and then Harry Potter starts to cement the idea of a universe, or it's just something that doesn't end, and then Marvel, right? Marvel does it. So, and then everything since Iron Man came out, whatever year that was, we have lived in the age of of marketing taken to, just the new level. The creation of, the work, and the way it's consumed, and the way it's distributed, and fits within our lives is all tightened. Maybe, right, that's the, I don't want to only paint it as like being potentially negative. It's certainly problematic that, profit motives, intersect with things that we feel like we have very personal connections to. And that's really just about, the different motives. Conflicting views. welcome to your Metroid Prime Remastered long playthrough. Take some pop culture. Here we've opened up into a big space pirate room. We haven't really gotten to fight space pirates in this way, where we're like strafing around them. They've come to us in more... First they tease the space pirates, and again, this game is so, I mean, all good game design should be good at teasing things, but yeah, they just nail it. Like, there's some space pirates with jetpacks early on that you know, as you come upon them, if you even go into that room, you don't necessarily have to have. There's no immediate benefit to it. It's just something you'll come across if you're exploring and don't know, like, what the primary path necessarily is. Which is the way the game is approached casually. And then the space pirates come in like some corridors, but they're behind boxes, and they're entering from the rear of the room. You know, you'll probably have some moments with them like dashing up close to you. If you're not dispatching them quickly, that might feel pretty intense.
Recording to logbook.
Which way are we gonna go? But then you enter this room, and then they drop, you know, a space pirate right up close, which is a lot of fun, and can be a bit shocking. And then, but then you're also, oops. I continue to talk about not having mastery over my Morphball controls. Embarrassing. Also just working on getting better at playing and talking and trying to not just go off into all the different directions. Squirrel. Here we go. But it is a nice progression with the space pirates. And then you come into this room, and then yeah, some strafing, and just right. So you get to use different tools to fight them, which is interesting. It's a good way to... build people's experience with the enemy type over, you know, over a period of the whole game up to this point. As you're learning about them, you know, there were some damaged ones in the early opening scene, but again, they were like, right, already half dead. Cutscene. Yeah, which is great. You know, like, how many... I mean, really, how many games do that? Are able to do that? Take the time to do it, you know, or pull it off so well. Like, you've got... Because most games don't. Like, if you think of Zelda, like, you're not going to get introduced to damaged dreadnoughts early on, or bokoblins or something. Like... Zelda likes to introduce you to a progression of enemies, and then those enemies will usually gain some health and power and aggressiveness later on. There probably are some examples. Actually, in Breath of the Wild, I think you encounter some damaged guardians early on. I mean, it is good game design to try and take your most iconic... Oh, this is about the system that we're in, which is pretty cool.
Recording to logbook.
Okay, so we're in the same... That's actually pretty cool. So Talon 4 and Zebs here, where Super Metroid takes place, are in the same system. I did not know that. I think this is us, right? Talon 4? Isn't that... Are we on a different tower? Twin Tabular? I mean, it makes sense that our... You know, that we're contained within the same solar system to some extent. Although, plenty of sci-fi universes take place across multiple solar systems. And unless they, you know, directly are commenting upon the distances or transportation, sometimes it's just left in, you know, the background. Oh, I didn't scan it. Oops, I did it again. I forgot to scan. How long is incomplete? And I never read anything. I honestly don't even know what that just was. Shit. I don't have a new... I think it was the spider ball, right? Is that what we just got? Did we just get beam combo? Maybe. Or maybe it's another example of something I've been able to do. And I haven't now. No, it does seem to be the new thing. Right, and then... Well... An example of needing to use the new thing. I was talking about the way the game teases the space pirates and builds them over time. Anyway, the point is that they've done a really nice job of it. And even a lot of other great games, when they do it, probably didn't do it as well as Metroid Prime did in 2002, which is wild. Yeah, this looks so cool. It's a very classic sci-fi thing to do, to have a big hologram of a solar system or of space. Yeah, Mass Effect. I don't know. Lots of movies. Certainly, Star Wars loved it. Some holograms. Alien. Yeah. There's no shortage of examples I'm sure we could try and find. Anything we might have missed? Some sort of obvious way now. We seem to be doing a great job. I remember this spot. like how, so when you use a charge wave beam, right, see how it stuns the space pirate? It stuns a lot of enemies because of, like, the electrical overload idea of it, I guess. But in terms of the game design, right, see how fast you can follow that up with a missile? Much faster than you could charge another shot. What we got? So you get kind of an optimal. Oops, right there, crash. I like that there are several enemies in this game that have chances to hurt you. Even after they've been defeated. It makes them feel more like... makes them feel more real, right? Like, I don't want to say... No. But if you're being defeated... by Samus and you're about to blow up, I guess you'd try and take her down with you. Not unreasonable. In any case, it makes the enemies feel more like their own agent. Ah, there we go. But we can't melt ice yet. Okay. And then up here. Nothing? Cool. Oh, did I go backwards? That is especially why the things, not only was I scanning things somewhat redundantly. I'm like, yeah, I was pretty sure I'd scanned these, but they're all. I was like, huh, I'm in the elevator? Oh, I am back. Not a problem. It's not going to make us do that fight again, thankfully. Just mosey on down. Revealing our first Metroid here. It's their big introduction. Pretty cool, right? You know, when you think about it, that here we are at, you know, whatever the 5-hour mark, or not that I've had 3 solid like half-hour instances of just being lost, or backtracking, or just talking on the stream too. But I mean, this is what the game is named after. So like, again, you think about your brand, or you think about this big series. I mean, this is Metroid. Not such a big series when this game came out in 2002. Like, critically, people loved Super Metroid, and it would often top magazine and early, you know, internet, online forum, best ever game lists. Throughout the aughts, as people remembered it very fondly as like kind of a perfect game, in the way that people to this day think of, I mean, still this, and other, you know, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6 or 3, depending on your preferred numbering, various Marios, 3, 1, Super Mario World, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, lost the thread. But yeah, you scan it and it pops out too. You know, I might point, you know, this game series isn't called Samus Aran. Oh, and I was talking about, right, but none of the Metroid games had sold very well, and that would continue to be true here. Like, Metroid Prime was probably the best-selling Metroid game for sure. Part of it was that each successive console, well, I was going to say found larger audiences, but that's not necessarily true for Nintendo. Super Nintendo was pretty peak for them for a while, till the Wii. And like, the GameCube got Metroid games and the Wii didn't, or I mean, right, I guess it did eventually get Metroid. It's the only one I haven't played. Problematic Metroid. The problem is that it was a bad game, but admittedly I haven't played it. I have seen lots of pieces on the way that Samus' character is severely undermined from the game's choices to make her part of Galactic Federation, but just that she's largely found to be not able to handle situations on her own, when the whole point is that you're like this. You're a badass. Nobody wants to play a Metroid game where you're not. You're not that. Specifically whiny. Like, nobody... You're a silent bat, you know. Your Boba Fett character is all of a sudden like, oh, I can't. Not up for this. I don't know. It's not fantasy. Been playing this game pretty thoroughly, so combined with like my own. Oh shit! I was like, we're pretty comfortable here. How do I get this Metroid off of me? This is a fun. So right, this is the. In fact, I didn't even really not paying super close attention to what's going on in the game. Narratively, as I'm focusing on what's going on, design-wise, in a lot of cases here. Yeah, this is the moment where the Metroids break out. So I'm trying to like keep this thread going. Too many threads. As I keep playing, then I want to pick up new threads. Help me. Thankfully, we have lots of time to play this game. So things will just come back around naturally in some cases that are worth commenting upon. I feel like I missed something. I think the thing is that they're... No, I don't know why I'm getting confused there. Alright. We got that energy tank. I do think there was a destructible thing that I missed before. Multiple things. Here we have... This puzzle here is going to test our ability to move the morph ball with the left thumbstick. Without any rails. And we passed. Game does a nice job of teasing things, using cutscenes, and shaping interesting encounters via, you know, room design. Shit. I guess I'm going to go back a little bit further than I thought. Probably only for a missile. Definitely have more thoughts on Metroid. Literally the Metroids and the way they're like introduced. So I don't want to go any further back. We already came this way, so oops. Back here because it was further back. Did you think there were some breakable things in this lab now? And I'm thinking about breakables in the next lab. So here we are. came back here to do that. And also to do that. Yeah. So you can do the storm something. More natural way for me there. I can hit R with my thumb in situations like that. How many does it pick up? 5? I forgot that. That it was designed that way. That the missiles would just become super missiles after you get the upgrade to basically, right, it's a super. Give him Mouse a cookie. We're gonna keep backtracking. There's a door over here that we never went through. And it's a map. Also some lore. But yellow-coated lore, not red-coated lore. Still haven't really decided if the game treats them differently. Like if it's tracking both or only one of them. Yeah, it's definitely tracking some of it. Okay, and then in this room? Jeez. That moment when you've made a weird choice. Now I've come so far back that it seems like maybe I should check out this room to the right. And now that I have the map and I can see the room, it kind of looks like it may be a boss. Do 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 do. You want to save? Yes. I'm not doing the best job monitoring my chat as I am chatting, and not even doing the best job of monitoring my own chatting. But hello, Nook. Thanks for saying hi. It's nice to see you, and for following me yesterday too. I followed you back, so I'll have to check out one of your streams. Okay. Oh, so the deal is now I can break that. But I don't think it did anything. The door still has no power. Cool. Alright, let's continue on our merry way. Alright, let's move fast and break things. As I was rewatching my stream from yesterday, I was like, should I be reading more of those to you people? You people? Everyone out there, internet land, and probably there's a lot of written material in this game. Yeah, we've been live for hour and 46. So the goal here is going to be to get to our next boss and wrap up just as we have the last 2 days. Somewhere between the two, or around the 2 hour mark. Then I'm going to make some exciting updates on my GitHub profile. The vertical doors, glass doors, get introduced here. which is an important callback to It is a callback to the 2D Metroids, for sure. I do think, right, they are easier to miss in a fully three-dimensional space. I mean, the game seems to even play up that angle a little bit because it puts boxes over them. I guess the boxes are actually maybe there though to draw attention to it. As you go into the room, you explode some boxes, and it's like, oh, is there a door under these? Because people are going to want items from having fought space pirates for the first time, so like casually, there's a reason why you might farm some boxes. And I do think they try to bring your attention to it through their natural building style. Been in this room already? Oh yeah, this was the room where the Metroid got introduced. Pretty good even without the lock-on. Do some of those moves. This tank holds the remains of experiment 7526, conversion of elite pirate unsuccessful. You know they didn't give up.
Recording to log.
Project Titan is suspended indefinitely. They got one. Don't worry. We're gonna have to fight it. Here, this door is brought attention to with this lit gate. You do have to do something when you put a door just on the ground in a 3D space like this, so I guess maybe we'll keep commenting on the ways it seems like they try and solve for those problems. Once the character knows it's there, you know, maybe you don't need to do as much, but people are gonna put your game down and pause and stop playing, you know, on their own terms. Ooh, a bison. So, I feel like you risk people getting
frustratingly lost with them. They support the verticality of the world in a way that I think makes good sense. I just feel like it's one of those things that always ends up being a challenge, and for the game developer. This is a fun room because you're like, right, this is like the sci-fi prison, and it's, you know, Metroids here in this lab. Oops. Like, are they all gonna get out? Probably. Here we go. When the lights go down in the city. Yeah, we're still in. Let's fight this Metroid. Let's do it on purpose. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's something in the room. There isn't. gloves. I think what's going to happen here is that with the thermal visor, yeah, we are. Famous last words. Really should be, if it was just, I have to get better at learning how to switch to the super missile, probably a bit more dynamically. That would definitely help. Those backwards. Here we see how the thermal visor can help us spot space pirates and enemies, you know, waiting in ambush for us. Which is a good, you know, use case for these. Of course, you don't want people to be playing your entire game, you know, that you've spent so much time on, you know, in visors, looking at you, Batman, Arkham. But what's nice about this is that this is an area we've already been through, and so we're backtracking, but the switch to the thermal visor and turning the lights off completely, this might even contribute to the idea of why they changed up the lighting for the beams in this remaster. This does keep this area a bit more fresh. It's kind of a bummer that I already backtracked through it. I forgot, you know, that I was going to backtrack. I mean, because it's not the biggest surprise in the world. But, you know, like I said, once I started backtracking, it was hard to stop. So, and here we are, back in relatively normal lighting conditions. Save, then and I think we're gonna be able to get ourselves right over to that big room now with our thermal visor part that I was missing and the wave beam. Well, first I want to see, can I just do that? No. I mean, that makes sense. we go. Open the door. Let ourselves in. By adding enemies there, I guess it is. I mean, not only does it make that space just a little bit more interesting, but it incentivizes boost ball usage. The game is always incentivizing cleaner movement, faster movement. Spider ball, folks. Here we get our stone talents, our galaxy quest. stone enemy. This is popular tropey sci-fi bad guy. Enemy, a golem, essentially, right? Yeah, I know. I'm gonna scan you and you're gonna tell me that I should be using the thermal visor, but of course. But again, there's a nice game finds ways to keep us not just in the thermal visor all battle. It's not what they want. They didn't, put the effort into designing this particular enemy. And that's a nice, how do you find that balance between interesting ways to switch up the gameplay. I think that only overloads when the phase line is out. But the game is going to be so consistent with what it's teaching you about how visors work, how its world works. It's just a whole lot of great. It's supposed to boost ball out of the way there, though. I think we're doing pretty good here in terms of Boom. Probably should have done that earlier.
Recording to logbook.
Spider ball. And that's gonna do it for today, folks. We're gonna find ourselves a safe spot. Yeah, we found. Pretty interestingly, I've been right on target here for every couple hours getting to the next boss. The game has proved evenly paced. At least to there we are. Oh. Want to get ourselves here to the end of the spider ball track. Back to Magmore. Magmore South. What do we got up here? Door we can't go in yet. Hey, Mewtwo. I see you. I'm gonna feed you in a moment here. Entering this big room, and clearly wanted to sort of by throwing 3 space pirates with jetpacks at you. It's a pretty good strategy, especially if you come through that boss battle with, you know, low health and you're feeling a bit tense. Let's. One of these, though, is likely to be a save room. We've experimented with this before, even though, right, like I say, that's definitely going to be power bomb.
Recording to logbook.
back. Crush it? Yeah, it totally did. Nice. There's this moment when the camera is following you in Spider Ball, that potentially the direction you're holding on the stick needs to shift to keep going in the same direction. Okay. Wow. Poke our head up here. I think, again, really what we're just looking for is a place to save. I think a safe spot is pretty close to here. Yeah, Talon Overlord. In fact, I think we can save at the ship. From here. Okay. I'm just gonna move to the ship and we'll end our game. Like, is that really the closest save spot? But it does seem to be. I don't know that there's much in the way of needing to use the spider ball or thermal visor here in Talon for anything particularly critical. But that's okay. We can explore that idea a bit more. Hopefully tomorrow. On Monday, hoping to just keep playing for a couple hours each day. So yeah, here we are. I've been Hunter, and this was part 3 of my playthrough of Metroid Prime Remastered. Thank you so much for hanging out with me whenever you found time to do so, and I hope you enjoyed your time here. Yeah, Matthew, the Crow, hanging out by my Linktree QR code. Will take you to to all of the various places where you can follow me. This broadcast is on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, with an archive, or with the videos being kept at YouTube, depending on how far in the future you're catching this, or it may be off the other platforms. So follow me on all the things. Batty Von Bats, my gift companion in the top left corner here, who flies about the capital region, lets us know what shows we have coming up. I think we've got... we've got a show this Friday in Gloversville at the Deck for the Divine Feminine. Killer Queen Presents. If you don't know from only watching me play Metroid Prime, I'm also a DJ in the capital region of New York. So people can catch me there on the 24th out in Gloversville. April 28th, people can catch me at the Fuse Box for the Church of Lust's 1-year anniversary show. And at the end of May, May 31st, people will find me DJing for Pasties, Pencils, and Pints at No Fun. You can follow me on all the things, and there'll be more shows to announce and populate as they come up and we head into the spring. You can also catch me every Thursday after 9 p.m. doing the DJ thing on Twitch. And during the days, I'll be continuing to play some video games. Yeah. Thank you again for hanging out with me. I hope you've had a nice time. Stay beautiful. Catch you again soon. Peace.